What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. Now, I usually do prediction videos. This one is gonna be a little different. It's more like a reaction kind of video. But I think everybody who's watching this video right now has definitely watched the game that took place last night at Signal Iduna Park between Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona. For anybody who thought that Dortmund could turn the game around and perhaps pull out a win, even if they couldn't progress, congratulations to you. They actually did play a fantastic game of football. It was super inspiring to see Dortmund play again with this kind of freedom and this passion that they've perhaps been lacking this season domestically. For Barcelona fans, I think, it was not a good performance at all from anybody on that pitch in a Barcelona shirt. I think from the moment Chesney gave away that first penalty, it did not look good. Thank God there were no other penalties, but Dortmund scored so many goals in that match and a lot of them were ruled offside. It could have been far worse, but I think in the first leg as well, Dortmund were perhaps not as clinical as they should have been, and had they gotten a goal or two in Spain, I think we'd be having a very different discussion right now. Nevertheless though, the score was Dortmund 3, Barcelona 1, which meant that the Blaugrana go through 5-3 on aggregate, so they got the job done in the first leg. That's all that matters. Now, interestingly enough, this morning I woke up and I thought, why not check what the media has to say about the match? Because I mean, I wanted to see, a bit of statistics, a bit of breakdown on how some players just push things to the edge, perhaps a headline or two about how disappointed Dortmund players were, even though they played such a great game. And even after that match, being the team that breaks Barcelona's unbeaten record in 2025 is a big achievement. So I expected to see something about that. Instead, we get this from Give Me Sport. A nice little headline here that says, Barcelona fans demand the club sell calamity after horror show in Borussia Dortmund scare. It makes it sound like somebody out here in the Barcelona setup is on the chopping block, but I wonder who it is. So obviously, if you're a Barca fan, you know that there's been a lot of stuff said about certain players who were supposed to have left perhaps during the transfer window and never did. But if we go to the comments here, we know that the whole discussion here is about Uruguayan centre-back Ronald Araujo. Unfortunately, Araujo came into this match, I would say, with Inigo Martinez being sacrificed in the heart of Barca's defense, and it showed. Barca lacked a bit of experience in that area. Of course, we've got Pau Cubarsí, who shows a lot of leadership despite being like a teenager, but I think Araujo still needs to be alongside an experienced centre-back in the heart of the defense, and I think Inigo Martinez is that player. So the decision for Hansi Flick here is Pau Cubarsí or Ronald Araujo, and unfortunately Cubarsí has been performing a little better than Araujo. So Inigo Martinez was left on the bench for this one, and Araujo got his spot. And I think the comment section here is what really speaks volumes here, because obviously this headline is engineered in such a way as to get you to think that Barcelona fans are really aggressive towards Araujo. Nobody wants him at the club, they're done with him, they want him out. Kind of like how I would say Napoli fans felt with Osimhen, but Osimhen dug his own grave there. Araujo, on the other hand, I mean, the dude has tried his best. There were rumors about him leaving to Juventus and to other clubs, but he stayed, and I think he's been doing okay. So guys, I will be showing names and pictures here. I don't think this little YouTube community that I've built is a bunch of savages, so I don't have to tell you these things, but I'm going to say it just in case. Please do not target anybody. Please do not go out, find these accounts, harass these people. The idea here is for us to debate the idea and not attack the person. So please guys, let's just be calm, cool, collected about it, and let's approach this from a football point of view with a massive degree of humanity. This isn't about attacking people and going out and perhaps starting some sort of public campaign. But the first comment that I did see was quite funny, because this person hadn't even read the article, and the dude says, I didn't watch the game and I'm yet to read the comments, but I have no doubt in my heart that the player is Araujo. It's crazy to think like this dude's reputation precedes him. Araujo unfortunately has been at the heart of a lot of controversy for Barca. Some of their worst defensive performances have included him in the setup, so unfortunately, the dude's gonna be getting a bit of flack. Next comment says, Araujo, a disaster to happen. Don't forget, he cost us the draw against Betis when he lost the guy who scored. Okay, fine, right? So one guy scored and the team lost. Where was everybody else who was supposed to be scoring goals for the team? I think, when you're a defender or a goalkeeper, when you make a mistake, it's obvious to everybody and you get punished for it. It's really difficult. When you're a striker, you can go out there and you can be like Fernando Torres and cost a club 50 million and then end up scoring like 5 goals. And nobody bats an eyelid, it's just, it's fine. He missed 300 shots, but he scored 5 goals. It's fine. So it's a little skew, I would say, in that sense. It takes a lot out of you to be a defender or a goalkeeper. That's why the phrase goes, you gotta be crazy to be a goalkeeper. But yeah, next comment, sell bad keeper and Araujo. Okay, thankfully there's a thread under that. Men, don't sleep that long. Yes, I agree with this dude. Where's the bad keeper? So obviously this poor person has not been watching Barcelona this season, because since Wojciech Szczesny has played for Barcelona, they haven't lost a game. Like, it's been crazy. The dude joined after being retired, mind you. The dude was ready to like chill, and all of a sudden he gets called up by Barcelona, who's supposed to be competing on 3 fronts, or rather on multiple fronts, because I think at the time they were still in the Club World Cup as well. And he just gets told like, cool, we need you, come through. And he goes through, and he's been playing really, really well. Yes, Szczesny made a big boo-boo yesterday with that penalty. I have no idea what he was doing, because I don't think anything was going to come of the Dortmund player getting the ball on that edge of the box. It was super smart to have pushed the ball away and drawn the foul in the box, winning the penalty. Clearly, obviously a very intelligent player. But Szczesny needed to work there on his decision making, and he just made the wrong choice. But I mean, again, let's not forget the headline says Barcelona fans demand the club sell calamity. So let's see what other things people have to say here. Somebody says, which Barcelona fan demanding anyone to be sold? Because I'm in so many cooler groups and not seen any comment like that today. Well, that is interesting then. I wonder where Give Me Sport got their information from. Let's look at another one. We shouldn't sell nobody. Everybody has bad games. Asking as it didn't cost the team the overall dream. They'll fix their mistakes and improve. Even Rafinha had a terrible, terrible game. That's true. It wasn't just Araujo or the defenders who had a bad game. Barca were bad everywhere. Midfield, forward line, Szczesny as well. Everything was just all over the damn show for this team. Barca's a team that likes to control the game. They had absolutely no control last night. It was all over the show. And it was obvious. It was obvious to everybody. Thankfully, somebody else responded to that one as well, saying Araujo is an excellent defender, had a bad game, happens to the best. There were seasons when he was the mainstay of the Barcelona defense. This dude is right. For the last 2 to 3 seasons before we saw Kubarsi come through and all of the other defenders who Barca are now sort of building around, Ronald Araujo was the one holding the defense together. And I think, again, he was a really young centre-back who was just expected to take on the role of defensive leader, and it's not easy. It's really not easy, because again, as a defender or a goalkeeper, you make a mistake, it's on full display for everybody. Another fan says, I haven't heard a single Barca fan ask anyone to be sold. This must be a Madrid account. That is hilarious. Yeah, just throw the football politics in there. But again, you can see that the fans are actually throwing their weight behind the team, behind the players. Maybe it's because the team still qualified through to the knockout stages. I think if they had been knocked out, it would have been a little different, maybe a little bit more fiery against Araujo, but so far it looks okay. Next person says, one bad game and sell? What a joking. Dude, open your English. What a joking. We need to support them in ups and downs. They can't win and perform 100% every game. He's right. Everybody loses at least once eventually. And I think we have to accept it when it happens. Somebody says Araujo broke Szczesny's record. That is true, unfortunately. But let's again, blaming Araujo. It's crazy. I think what is good though is somebody did give a bit of credit to Wojciech Szczesny, saying Szczesny made 8 saves. Without them, it would have been over. That is true. And it's not just that. I think Barca were actually very lucky as well because of the amount of goals that Dortmund scored that were ruled off for offside or fouls in the build-up, whatever it was. It just, luck was on Barca's side last night, I think. Effect, Inigo and Balde not play. Yes, like I said, Inigo Martinez for me has become the experienced one in Barca's defense, and I think without him they really kind of fall apart. But again, I would say it's because Barca made it through that the comments are perhaps not as aggressive, because we have somebody with a bit of history for us. Dortmund was giving us flashbacks of Roma and Liverpool. Yes, I remember after those comebacks, it was terrible. It was terrible. Like, Barca fans were like rabid at that point. Someone commented on that and said, "Wallahi, I can't forget what Roma and Liverpool did to Barca a few seasons back. I felt like crying that year." Me too, bro. It was shameful. From a football neutral point of view, it was really, really shameful. But I think at the end of the day, Dortmund played really, really well, and Barca just played really badly. What I do like is when I see comments like this: bad performance, the defense is still easily penetrated by the opponent, especially from the wings. Panic when the ball kicked from a corner, and the offside trap must be careful. It could be a problem if it fails. In the middle line, they often dribble the ball too long, and several times the opponent can take it. In the front line, the attackers seem selfish, even though there are other players who have good chances. This is the best comment I've seen so far about the game. I think it basically takes everything and puts it in a nice little nutshell. Barca were bad everywhere. It wasn't just a case of one or two players, because even, let's say, if Araujo had gone out there and scored 2 own goals, for example, Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, Rafinha, Pedri, Dani Olmo, these are players who should have been scoring goals, and they didn't get anything. Barca looked completely off their game last night, creatively and defensively. So it wasn't a good effort from everybody on the pitch. But of course, there has to be something very interesting that comes up at times like this. And this person says last time they wore the white shorts, they also lost. It's a curse. On a serious note, Flick has been making some poor decisions recently with the lineup. I understand he needs to rotate and experiment, however it's not working. They were completely exposed and on the verge of another historic collapse. Hopefully this was a huge wake-up call. Araujo belongs on the bench. I think he's not wrong. I think you can actually start the game with Araujo on the bench and then have Inigo start with Kubarsi. Or you could have Inigo start with Araujo and then bring Kubarsi on in the second half. But I think you can't ask Araujo to be that defensive leader. I think he doesn't have that ability. That's no fault of his own. It just happens. I mean, if you look at Barcelona in past seasons, Carles Puyol was fantastic at it. Gerard Piqué not so much. Does that mean that Piqué was a bad defender? Not at all. It just means that in terms of leadership, he didn't have what was needed. So I think, yes, this one is interesting. But the shorts thing apparently is a thing, because this isn't the only person who said that it's about the shorts. Because, yeah, someone else put out here on Instagram, who brought the idea of a white short. Some kids are cursed. I don't know how. Thank you for this, guys. It was just a quick rant. It was something that I found was hilarious. How the media kind of tries to play it that the fans are so against the players, and we're not. We just want to watch the game. I think Oh My Goals headline is a lot better. No miracle, Borussia Dortmund 3, Barcelona 1, because that's what it was. There was no miracle there. It was unfortunately something that Dortmund really tried hard for and they just didn't get. But I think the way the other headline is spun is just sort of to make it seem like everybody's blaming one player, and we're not. We understand that the entire team had a bad performance, and if they go out there and they play that way in the semi-finals, if they go out there and play this way in the El Clasico Copa del Rey final, in the El Clasico in La Liga, it's not going to look good for Barcelona. But once again, guys, thank you for joining me. Please, if you did enjoy this kind of content, which was more, I would say, spontaneous, do let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget, I want to know about the white shorts thing. Please let me know about that. I'm very interested in that. As always, if you enjoyed the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please join us again. This is something that I'd like to do more often, and hopefully you guys tag along for it.